Okay, let me do a little bit of recapitulations because let's take a look. Basically, we are in this page. Okay, this is the page. This is the chapter 2. We will see energy, decision, sustained application. Actually, all this is regards what? Let's take a look. Actually, we are in the occasional sessions. From the Cetasika. Basically, class. I would like to bring you back to this table. Okay, this is the compendium of the mental factor. Why we talk about mental factor? Actually, in chapter 1, we already go through the consciousness. Okay, so class, remember in Abhidhamma, okay, we understand that we have 89 consciousness, but basically consciousness cannot carry out its duty by itself only. So basically every consciousness, okay, they will be accompanied by a group of the Cetasika, or we call it as a mental factor. So they will all work together so that the consciousness can carry out its duty perfectly. And remember that in the very early classes, we try to use the example for the Milo, coffee, or that. So each one of the drink inside, they have a different composition. Remember? So some composition share equal. You can which is available in each of the drinks. Okay, in our example, and then we try to analyze every drink have their own different component composition, so to make the drinks come out the taste. So from there, class, if you remember, we talk about that in this compendium of the mental factor, meaning to say that we have a different group of the Cetasika. Let me close the door first. Okay, class, basically here we have a few of the group. Number one, we call it as ethical variable. Ethical variable meaning to say that they are either favorable or not favorable. It depends on which, his friend. It depends on either they are accompanied by the unwholesome factor or the beautiful factor. So their ethic will change. It depends on who they follow. Okay, so in the previous lesson, so basically, there's total 52, and we have gone through is the universe. Okay, so class, let's take a look. Meaning to say that for 89 consciousness, basically universe mean that all the 89 consciousness, they all possess this universe, this 7 of the mental factor. Okay, so if you try to come back, so we'll see that, oh, here is the feeling, okay, the perception, the volition, the one-pointedness, the mental life faculty, and the attention. So in the previous lesson, we all talk about this. Meaning to say for for all consciousness, they must possess all these 7 we call as a universe. Okay, so this is the one. Then we come to the occasional. Occasional basically meaning to say that they are ethically a variable factor, and also sometimes they will be present. Sometimes they might not be present. So here's the example. Initial applications. So with the example, we put our mind to the object. And then a sustained application meaning to say that we continue the paying attention in certain object. So in previous lesson, we are using this is the flower. So the bee, once the bee come to the flower, there is the initial application. What is continue is a sustained application. All right. So this is a few things. And then we go to the decision. Decision meaning to say it's a decisive, okay, atit mokha. Once you be very firm to one stand, meaning to say that at that moment, you have a strong decisions, okay. Then we talk about the energy. Energy meaning to say that there's a vigorous non-collapse. For example, if let's say you are working very hard, to win people's heart, especially during the election, they do the campaign. So we say that, oh, they have the energy to do certain things. So this is how we use the abhidhamma to describe our consciousness. And I want to bring your attention that let's take a look, especially For every, for every item we study, there will be characteristic, there will be the manifestation, there will be the proximate cause. Basically, the proximate cause is, is the reason how we raise up this cetasika. So by mastering the proximate cause, you can know how to raise up the energy. So this is where we stop here. Well, basically, repeat is important. Here, ethically variable. Can you please, a universe 7, occasional 6, 1, contact, 2, feeling, 3, perception, 4, volition. Can you please just repeat yourself? Okay, the 7, the 6, and also the unwholesome universe 4. Please repeat for 3 times. Okay, once you just repeat by yourself 3 times. Once you finish, please raise hand by Zoom now. Okay. Okay, one people finish. Mr. Leong finish. Okay, Sally finish. Okay, go home, finish. Okay, let's continue the class. So, Mr. Leong, can you please read for me? From this start, zest. Okay, please. On the mic, please, Mr. Leong.
PT. Already introduced among the jhana factors, PT has the characteristics of enduring sampayayana. Its function is to refresh mind and body, or its function is to prevail, to thrill with rapture. It is manifested as elation. Mind and body, nama-rupa, is its approximate cause. 6. Desire. Chanda. Chanda here means desire to act, that is, perform an action or achieve some result. This kind of desire must be distinguished from desire in the reprehensible sense, that is, from lobha, greed, and raga, lust, whereas the later terms are invariably unwholesome. Chanda is an ethical variable factor which can conjoin with wholesome concomitants, can function as the virtuous desire to achieve a worthy goal. The characteristic of the chanda is desire to act. Its function is searching for an object. Its manifestation is need for an object. And that same object is its proximate cause. It should be regarded as the stretching forth of the mind's hand towards the object.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Leong.
Sorry, Sifu, can you make it slightly bigger?
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Hey, Guan, you have to on your camera, because not many people, we ask people to answer the question, except when you sick, or then you off the camera, Guan, Ray, stand by Zoom once you finish, okay.
Sifu, scroll up a bit late.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Class, let's take a look. Number 5 is about the piti, is the zest. Basically, piti, class, if you take a look, we call it as what? We call it as the occasional, meaning to say that occasionally it will happen, you will see it, but not all, in all consciousness it will arises. But basically, how do we familiar with the piti is due to the jhana factor. Basically, for those who attain to the first jhana, they must possess the piti. Usually, piti actually can arise once you feel enjoy, no matter you taking the food, okay, you watch a movie, you listen to the music, actually, whatever pity you feel, we call it, the mental factor, we try to pinpoint, it will be the pity. And then basically, even though once we recover from the sickness, so I remember very well, what I feel cold, because the fever. So when the fever gone, immediately I will feel very comfortable. That one also is the piti. Basically, if we check from the brain system, there will be something related to the dopamine. As long as there will be the dopamine increases, then we will feel piti. But anyway, the best way to enhance it should be through the meditation. The reason is through the meditation, once the piti when the excretion of dopamine is very strong and the piti can be continuously produced, then you will feel that it can sustain very long. Sometimes in Buddhism, we encourage people to do the dana because once we do the giving, we feel happy. Okay, and then we also encourage people, if possible, you try to help people, you try to liberate the animal, whatever. But we notice that even though through the action of the giving, even though through the action of praising people, but basically all these the joy cannot keep very long one. Usually after the action, gone already. But whereas if you do the meditation, as long as you can focus very well, as long as the joy appeared, usually it can continue, last very long. Okay, so that is the precious, for the piti. And usually, once there's the piti, you will repeat to do something. You will just repeat and do it without any encouragement. Just piti by itself is strong enough for you to do something already. So that's why once you focus very well and the piti is getting very joy, so you will become a jhana factor. It's very important jhana factor. So that's why if let's say for those who learn the Buddhism, basically there will be a few things to keep you learning the Buddhism. One of it should be the joy. If without the joy, you must have to find other things to do so that you feel your life is more meaningful, especially for retiring life. Retiring life. Let me still mention many years ago the retiring life because you don't really get the things. There's too much time, and as a human, we wouldn't just 1 day 8 hours in the meditation state, right? So that's why we still got plenty of time. If the plenty of time, you don't feel with the piti, then you become equanimity. Then you start to feel boring already. As I know, a lot of people they will become a gamble addict or drug or alcohol addict is because they're too free and nothing to do. Am I right, Mr. Leong? Some retired people, they're too free, nothing to do, so they go the other place to kill the time, even become worse.
Yeah, process in wandering mind.
Yeah, that's why. So it's good for you to get a school bus and you drive again. And then sometimes you mentioned to me you see the boy, the child, you feel happy. See or not? Meaning to say that the people like you and I we always prefer to let our mind to repeat the piti. You see or not? Now later on, now it's the 2:30. If you have a habit for having a tea time, you start to think, what to eat already. Usually you will go to find something will bring you the piti. Am I right? You will eat something which causes you suffering, right? You will see. So meaning to say that our heart all the time we will looking for the joy, looking for the piti. So this is our habit and then we can stay in the equanimity. It's very boring and then we'll try to get away from the suffering. But anyway, class here, if you talk about the proximate cause, you see the piti, proximate cause is the mind and the body. Sometimes the example is it doesn't make any sense. It seems like nonsense, right? Yeah, it sometimes happen in this way. But here we will notice that the function is to refresh the mind and body. Well, this is true. Once you try to get the piti, you will feel refresh your body and mind. So I remember so well because certain Dharma friend they mentioned to me 1 year he said at least a few times he said he will go to the Genting one. He said once the car nearby the Genting he said my whole body start refreshing already. Yeah, you see, everybody have a different joy, right? Some is watching the movie, the adventurous movie. Some maybe people go to hanging out to the coffee shop, or maybe some do other thing, meditation, or listen to the Dharma talk. So everybody got a different way. As long as you keep the hobby, you keep on refreshing your mind and the body. But just whether how much the price you have to pay for it. So I remember we got one Dharma friend. We walked together in the shopping mall. So I said, I recently I used the a confession of shopaholic as an example for the craving. And then she admitted that actually I'm the shopaholic. I said, what made you happy? She said, a handbag. I said, then will you? overuse your credit card, he said, you won't. But anyway, he said, when I buy a new bag, I feel so happy, like in the paradise, I should say. So I said, how long will be in the paradise with a new bag? He said, about 1 week to 2 weeks. Then what happened? Buy another one. Then you go back to paradise again. They say when they're free, they take out the bag or the shoe, they keep on wrapping. They say they are in the paradise, you know. You see, a lot of different people have a different pity one. So that is how we usually call as a dopamine excretion. But anyway, if let's say nowadays people go to take the drugs, also just simple, just want the excretion of the dopamine. So we call it as a drug addict drug addict So this is how they do but this type of activity, they will damage the brain okay, am I right? Kwan San, usually all the drug addict the drug they use even though they bring them joy, the problem is due to the damage of the brain, right? So that's why the rules against it, am I right?
Overstimulation.
Overstimulation, then what's the consequence?
They keep on wanting more and more, don't need to sleep. Then in the end, their body will get tired, but they still want to get the same effect again. So they never rested on.
Oh, okay. Since you are selling the drugs, then how will the pharmaceutical body to control so that all the salesmen won't misuse this?
We cannot sell, doctor. I mean we cannot sell and the doctor also cannot sell also.
No, can you get the stock easily?
No, cannot.
You cannot get the stock.
We cannot sell. We don't have something to sell also.
Even though you don't have the stock, so that's why
don't have also.
All the doctor and the pharmaceutical, they cannot abuse the power by just using privately, cannot, right?
That one I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
Well,
it is good that you're not sure, meaning to say that you don't have the sources to abuse it.
Don't have.
So you don't know what you want to misuse, also don't know how to misuse, right? Okay. So class, basically all these even though the drugs we also will describe that the mental state is the zest, is the pity because the pity is occasional, meaning to say that it could be good or could be bad. This type of we call it as a zest. Okay. Then let's take a look. We come to the desire. Okay, class, let's take a look. Basically, when we talk about the desire, you see, desire is the desire to act, you see. But one important point is to distinguish from the desire in the reprehensible sense, lobha, greed, and the raga and the rush. Okay, how do we differentiate it? Sometimes desire is very confusing in the Buddhism. For example, okay, class, okay, I don't know whether I asked the question or not. If I aiming to get $3 million for early retirement, it is considered a chanda, or okay, here it is considered is a what is it considered a chanda, or is considered a greed lobha? Chanda is number one. Second is lobha.
Doctor, sorry, Sifu, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Okay, I'm aiming to get $3 million for early retirement. So with this type of statement, it is a chanda or is a lobha? Chanda or the lobha? Okay, number one. Okay, go home, vote number one. How about the rest?
Oh, 1 and 2.
1 and 2, okay, then, okay. So long you're better, set 3 for yourself. Okay, yeah, you can set for yourself. Yeah, not people is very smart. You get to their choice, they choose number 3 one there. They set number 3 for themselves. Yeah, Sally and Kwan San. Yeah, Sally number 1. How about
Sorry,
Kwan?
Sifu, I couldn't give any answer because I didn't attend the earlier class.
Oh, no need to attend one. Just this is enough already for you to answer it. Okay, never mind. Since you are indecisive, I can tell you the answer is number 1. Actually, it depends. Class, whether it's greedy or not greedy, basically, we have to see is the intention. Class, take a look. You see, now here, actually, before this, we have an intention. You see or not? Vedana class here, take a look. Now volition class. Actually, volition is the one to decide whether it's a chanda or this is I mean we call it as a greedy or loba. Actually, volition is the case. So meaning to say that if you just simply could say that I want a $3 million, it's not enough to show that whether you are good intention or bad intention. It's not enough. But anyway, if let's say you want the $3 million so that you can buy more stuff or luxury thing, have a luxury life. That sure will be the greedy, that will be the loba. But anyway, if you just $3 million, we don't know, maybe you just for early retirement, then you can go for a more intensive retreat. Maybe you want to do the charity. That will be the good intention really. That will be the chanda already. See or not? So class, it really depends on the intention. So next time if people ask this question, you have to ask further, what is the intention first? Because without intention, we don't know whether it's the neutral chanda or it's a good intention with the chanda or will be the loba. Okay, so this is a quite tricky one. Basically, without learning abhidhamma, people is getting confused. For example, sometimes people will go to join a lot of dharma class. So sometimes you sounds that it seems a little bit greedy. This guy, how come he attend so many dharma class? Okay, but it seems. You cannot say greedy. It is good learning more dharma as long as it doesn't influence the daily life, right? So that's why how to differentiate it is it depends on the intention. Because sometimes maybe the people want to do attend many classes, or maybe they will become a major dana just to want the recognition from the public. So that will be the greedy already. Even though you are doing the dana, right? But behind, my name must be put put my name obviously in the hall, something like that. That will be the greedy already. It's not a chanda already, because the intention you want to recognizable by the people. See, so that's why whether it's a good or bad deed it really depends on your intention. Just chanda itself is not enough to know whether it's a favorable or unwholesome or unwholesome. So see, class, take a look. You see here they say chanda is the ethical variable factor. See, not ethical variable. So you say its function is searching for the object, is stretching forth of the mind hands toward the objects. You see or not? So one we have a chanda, meaning to say we are looking for something. We are searching for something, we desire for something. This will be the chanda. So that is, how we understand the chanda. So from here we go to the unwholesome factor, 14. Yes, Kok Hong, can you please read? Unwholesome factor, delusion, begin from here.
The unwholesome factors 14. Delusion, shamelessness, fearlessness of wrongdoing, restlessness, greed, wrong view, conceit, hatred, envy, avarice, worry, sloth, torpor, and doubt. These 14 mental factors are termed the unwholesome. Number 1, delusion, moha. Moha is a synonym for avidya, ignorance. Its characteristic is mental blindness or unknowing, anana. Its function is not penetration or concealment of the real natures of the object. It is manifested as the absence of right understanding or as mental darkness. Its proximate cause is unwise attention. Ayoniso manasikara. It should be seen as the root of all that is unwholesome. With 2 and 3, shamelessness, ahirika, and fearlessness of wrongdoing, anotappa. The characteristic of shamelessness is absence of disgust at bodily and verbal misconduct. The characteristic of fearlessness of wrongdoing or moral recklessness is absence of dread on account of such misconduct. Both have the functions of doing evil things. Their manifests are not shrinking away from evil. Their proximate cause is the lack of respect for self and lack of respect for others, respectively. Number 4, restlessness. Uttakata. Restlessness or agitation has the characteristic of disquietude. Like water whipped up by the wind, its function is to make the mind unsteady. As wind makes a banner ripple, it is manifested as turmoil. Its proximate cause is unwise attentions to mental disquiet.
Okay, thank you so much. Should be mental disquiet. Then có không pronounce this as a Malay utacha. The Pali usually the way they pronounce it, we are using the Malay way. Okay. Okay, thank you so much. We try to digest all this. Okay, class, let's take a look. Number 1, we talk about is the delusion. Okay, besides the class here, usually once we talk about one of the cetasika, we will use characteristics, functions, proximate cause, manifestation to describe it. If possible, please try to memorize one, because in order you can I bet you can later on to apply the knowledge to check yourself and make it become partial of your thinking system. If without memorizing, you can't become partial of your analytical system. So you have to memorize at least one of the item for each one. So let's take a look. Number 1 is the delusion. Basically, delusion is a synonyms to the avijja, or we call it as ignorance. In Buddhism, it's very famous. There's very famous phrases we used to quote that. Why do we reincarnate? The reason is because of the craving and the avijja. Very famous, very famous. If you ask, why do we reincarnation? Why we have to be attached? We will reborn to this world. Basically, the most standard answer will be the avijja. So what does mean avijja? Well, it is quite hard to tell people what is avijja, even though to tell ourselves. The reason is avijja meaning to say that the word combined together with the and the vicha. So vicha actually means what? Means you enlightened already. Okay, avijja meaning to say you are not enlightened. In the simple way, that meaning to say that since we are always it seems that vicha is the situation of the wake up. Okay, avijja meaning to say you are still in the dreaming. We never wake up before. We are always in the dreaming. So how can you tell people who is dreaming the wake up state? It's just like You are telling us some worm only can survive in the summer. Okay, you tell them the ice, which is impossible. Why? Because the worm can only sustain in the summer season. After the summer, it died already. So we try to understand and describe how is the ice. They will never understand winter. They will never understand snow because they never been there before. They never have a chances to experience the snow before. Like us is the same. We never enlightened before. Then we try to tell us how is the enlightened is very difficult. So that's why the best way is using the analogy. Okay, usually there's one analogy we try to describe for those with avijja, just like for those try to climb the ice. You try to use the cloth, to just cover the eye, so you don't see anything. Once you don't see anything, you are in the avijja state. So this is how we mention usually we tell people that is the avijja. For Arahant, for Buddha, basically they uncover their eye. So they will see everything, they see the true nature. So what's the true nature? Basically the true nature meaning to say that is the anicca, dukkha, anatta. Basically, according nowadays, a lot of movies that keep telling you that the world we are staying is not true. So what's the true world? So the true world meaning to say that you will perceive the true world still with your brain in a different manner. You will see different things. Basically in Buddhism, the true world is supposed to be whatever we see, they are keep on changing. And if you're able to analyze, to see in the most subtle, the true nature, actually they keep on changing. We call it anicca, dukkha, anatta. That will be the true world. But since we don't see the true, we always stay in the, we call it in the concept world. The concept world. So you see, okay, I see Kok Hong, I see Mr. Leong. Even though Kok Hong and Mr. Leong, they also possess the eye, the hair, whatever, but I would confuse. Why? Because they have their own characteristic and the nature. So one is named as Mr. Leong, one is named as the Kok Hong. So we never confuse one. You see or not? So this is how we conceptualize the world because we are labeling it. Okay, well, labeling is not the problem, but the problem is that when we start to do the labeling, the comparison come and the defilement come. So we start to label, oh, this is the fat, so this is the thin. Fat is ugly, thin is beautiful. And then we start to label, oh, this is the rich. Rich meaning to say high ranking. Oh, you are poor, so you are low ranking. So this is the labeling that cause all the trouble for ourselves. See or not? So meaning to say, once we stay in this type of work, the work is full of labeling. Sometimes the labeling is trying to help us to understand the world. But sometimes we end up, we are getting more trouble through the comparison. See or not? So that is why we are staying in the avijja, the world. But if we, let's say we are avijja already, the are gone already, then you'll be enlightened. So no more laboring. That word itself is without any laboring. You are just always seeing the true nature. That situation we call as a avijja. So class, let's take a look. You see, we describe as a mental blindness. See or not? So using the cloth to cover the eye. You see, non-penetration. You see, concealment of the real nature of the object. See, the real nature concealed already. Please write down real nature of the object. Real nature mean what? Real nature means anicca, dukkha, anatta. Please write down anicca, dukkha, anatta. Impermanence. Impermanence, anicca, dukkha is a suffering and non-self. So that is the true nature, we call it true nature. This is the true nature. So we call it as a true nature. Impermanent suffering and the non-self, that will be the true nature. And then basically, just the Arahant and the Buddha, they are able to experience the situation of a avijja, meaning to say that without the R1. R meaning to say that is the negative. Okay, they are the one. Then the proximal cause we call it as unwise attention. Class, you please pay attention to this phrase because you keep on telling you uniso manaskara, unwise attention. Well, if that's the case of meaning to say Arahant, they're always with the wise attention. For us, we always unwise attention. So in the simple definition, meaning to say that unwise attention, meaning to say that you always see things not in the true nature that we call it as unwise attention. Okay, so let me see people got a question. Let me answer first. Okay, so let's see very long. Okay. Let me see first. Okay. Is it possible for anyone to have a craving while alive and no more craving? She die and she can stop reincarnation. Well, if let's say yes, you will stop reincarnation when you got enlightened. You will stop reincarnation when you got enlightened. So who will be stop reincarnation? Just the Buddha and Arahant. As long as we achieve, become Buddha Arahant, then there will be no more reincarnation. That will be total vicha, not avicca. It's totally vicha. It is possible through the vipassana. We are able to achieve that state. Yeah, Mr. Leong, just now you raised hand, right?
Yes, Sifu.
Yeah.
Regarding the three characteristics, some people refer it as the Buddha nature, is it?
Buddha nature, no, it's different thing. Usually Buddha nature is not the three characteristic. Usually Buddha nature it means what? Buddha nature means how should I put it? When we enlighten, we become the Buddha, we attain the Buddha nature. So Buddha nature meaning to say something like a nibbana. It's supposed to be nibbana, Mr. Leong, not anicca dukkha anatta. Buddha nature, usually Mahayana, we use the phrase only. Theravada and Nikaya, they don't use Buddha nature. That is the specific word by the by the Mahayana. Okay, Mahayana, Tathagata treasure, that school. So this is the delusion, the toughest one, the concept to explain. So you see, that is the root of all the unwholesome class. See or not? That is the root. Okay, the root. Okay, Kwan San, regarding a question, I think you can fully understand only once the more Dharma you learn. Because that is a quite profound question. Once we talk about how to stop reincarnation. Yeah, Mr. Leong, please. Okay.
Sifu, regarding the regarding the Arahant and Buddha,
Yes.
not being reincarnated or reborn, what about Anagami, the non-returner?
Oh, they still will come back just for once. Remember or not? Why we put them an example? Because they attain the paranibbana. Mahaparinibbana, meaning to say that no more reincarnation, but for anagami or sotapan, all this, they still come back for a few times. So we don't use them as an example.
No, Sakadagami will come back once more time. Anagami non-returner.
Anagami non-returner, but yeah, Anagami non-returner, but it's still not achieved the parinibbana, because for Anagami, we call it, why we label them as Arahant, there's no more already. Non-return meaning to say, let me see, non-returner meaning to they are reborn in the fourth jhana, right? Am I right? So meaning to say that they still got the last life is in there. Then once they achieve the Arahant, if they are Arahant, so finally no more reincarnation. Non-returning meaning to say that no more returning to this world. Am I right? That will be the last life, right? A last life, so we call that as non-returner. So wait, non-returner 不来. Yes, non-returner meaning to say that no more come back to the world, to the human world, and also I think non-returner meaning to say not come back to the human world. Let me check. I think we're confused. The definition of the non-returning. Let's see. Anagami. Anagami Arahant. Anagami Arahant. Okay, fourth stage. Yeah, yes, okay, non-returning. Okay, the definition is correct. So non-returning and the arahant. Let's see non-returning the definitions. Okay, arahant is free from this. Okay, 不来 non-returning. Yeah, Mr. Leong, you see, even though we call it as a non-returning, there will be once more in the heavenly realm, pure abode. There's still one more time. Non-returning meaning to say that no more come back to the human world, but still one more time in the heavenly realm. But for Arahant, there will be no rebirth. Non-returning meaning to say no more returning to the human world, but still at least one last time will be heavenly realm. Just the Arahant is the definition for the no rebirth. Okay, Mr. Leong, clear or not?
Understand.
Okay, yeah, I get that. So don't confuse the non-returner as a non-reincarnation. No, it doesn't mean this way. Okay, then we come to the shamelessness. Well, shamelessness is easy to understand, meaning to say that one will be absent of the disgust at bodily and verbal misconduct. There will be shamelessness. So if let's say whatever we do which is not it's not agreeable in the society, or maybe this is unconscious, so we call it will be the disgust of the bodily and verbal misconduct, and also maybe we call it as a fearlessness of the wrongdoing. So class, let's take a look. Here with this, you will see the phrase of fearlessness, the fear, and also we will see is the a shamelessness. You see, meaning to say that even though a fear, sometimes we say that it is unwholesome consciousness, but basically, if let's say you fear something can make you be good conduct, the fear is the good fear. See or not? Sometimes even though the angry also is a good angry, because sometimes people is very lazy. We try to, to stimulate them. We scold them. We say you are rubbish, you are very bad. So he will be angry. But once angry, he will getting up and motivated. That will be the good angry. Fear also is the same. There will be the good fear and the bad fear. If the fear can make you more abide by the rule, there will be the good fear. So that's why we will see the words of the fear. Then you see what is the proximate cause. That is the lack of the respect of ourselves and the other. What does that mean? Basically, lack of respect of self or other is come from the education. I remember very well during our childhood, usually our parents always keep on mentioning to us that we say, oh, once you're getting adult, you have to make sure you become a good people. Even though you don't have a good achievement in career, doesn't matter, but you must be behaving well. You must be behaving well. Sally, do your parents talk this way to you? Right or not? Okay. So this type of it start to build up our self-dignity. There is a self-respect. So once we do something wrong already, we feel sorry to our parent in the very first place. So that is a self-respect. Once there will be the self-respect, there will be respect to other. So that is the fundamental to come out with this. You see, the proximate cause for the shamelessness. From the shame. If let's say you have the respect for yourself and other, then you will be shameful. Okay, so that's why the education is very important during the childhood. We keep on to tell people that to respect themselves, to build their own dignity, then they will be shameful for themselves, and then they will be fearful to the wrongdoing. Likewise, if let's say your child steal something from the supermarket and come back tell you, oh, I get something, I steal something. If let's say you're proud of him, then there will be no more shameful already. If you say, oh, I'm ashamed with you, and then he understand, oh, this is a wrong thing. So the dignity and the self-respect start to build up. So that's why education is very important to build up the shame. Then next, let's take a look at there will be the restlessness. This is easy. Once we sit down, do nothing, our mind will be disquieted, you see or not? That we call it as a restlessness, utacha. Our mind is unsteady. Basically, our mind is always in the unsteady situation. Except you are in the first jhana and above, or you become an arahant. Just the Arahant will totally remove the restlessness. Let's take a look. See or not? You see here. Now you see Arahant now conceive. Now you see restlessness. What Arahant do? Abandon factors. Plus you can write down restlessness only you achieve become Arahant, then you will totally abandon these states. Restlessness. Okay, restlessness. Once you achieve Arahant, then you're able to totally abandon it. Nowadays, according to the science, they can recognize very well where is the restlessness appeared in our brain. That will be in our default mood network. Default mood network. Class, let's take a look. This is the default mood network. Basically, a default mood network is the places according to the science. You see or not? This is the place of the default mood network. Once people do the meditation from the MRI scan, they notice that all these places they will be stop functioning. So that's why once you meditate, you will notice that the big cell will be manifested. Once you attain to the jhana, you will feel the big cell. Why we are feeling the small cell? Because this a few part of the brain they are functioning. Let's take a look. You see or not? It is best known for being active. When a person not focused on the outside world and the brain is at wakeful rest, such as daydreaming and mind wandering. Once your mind wandering, the default mood network is active. Then this a few part of the in the brain they make you think about yourself, remember the past and the future. If let's say you're able to stop make this a few part of the brain stop functioning, there will be no more remembering the past and no more remembering the future. Then you are always mindful in the present moment. So that's why during the meditation they emphasize a lot 1,000 years ago it seems all the meditators like Shakyamuni, they are very smart. They notice that once you focus your mind this type of the brain, they will stop functioning. Then the brain will perceive the world differently. Even though it's the jhana, that is will be very wonderful already. But anyway, nowadays even though by consuming the psychedelic, they also can cause the temporary malfunction for the default mood network. Psychedelic is type of medicine have been taken 1,000 years by the native in America and the native in Brazil. They use it once the default mood network stop, they're able to connect with the God. Some they're using it to open the third eye to solve the problem for the devotee. Okay, so this is according to the human history, you can use the psychedelic to do something like that. Then besides, one more thing to stop the function of that one, we call it as a near-death experience. Basically, for those especially cardiac arrest, once the cardiac arrest, they die temporarily. Actually, for them, they notice that their soul seems wandering. Actually, once they get back already, their character will be changed. Why? According to the MRI scan, basically the default mood network also start changing structure already. So usually once they get the life back again, they will be very contributory and very selfless. They become more metta, more compassionate. See or not? So that is how the brain function can cause us see the world differently. So class so this is nowadays science helps us a lot to see the things. Then we go to the greed. Guan San, can you read the passage? Greed.
Greed, lobha, greed, the first unwholesome root, covers all degrees of selfish desire, longing, attachment, and clinging. Its characteristic is grasping an object. Its function is sticking, as meat sticks to a hot pan. It is manifested as not giving up. Its proximate cause is seeing enjoyment in things that lead to bondage. Number 6, wrong view. Diti here means seeing wrongly. Its characteristic is unwise, unjustified interpretation of things. Its function is to pre-assume. It is manifested as wrong interpretation or belief. Its proximate cause is unwillingness to see the noble ones, Arya, and so on. And 7, conceit, mana. Conceit has the characteristic of haughtiness. Its function is self-exaltation. It is manifested as vainglory. Its proximate cause is greed dissociated from views. It should be regarded as madness, hatred, dosa. Dosa, the second unwholesome root, comprises all kinds and degree of aversion, ill will, anger, irritation, annoyance, and animosity. Its characteristic is ferocity. Its function is to spread or to burn up its own support. Example, the mind and body in which it arises. It is manifested as persecuting, and its proximate cause is ground for annoyance.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we'll try to digest a few from here first.
Okay.
Okay, class, let's take a look. Now we're going through the other one. We begin with this is the greedy. Let's take a look. You see, the greed is the first unwholesome root. Class, if you go to the hatred, there will be the second unwholesome root, meaning to say that greed and hatred, they play a major role in our defilement. Now, this is the first one. That is the second one. You see, root, meaning to say that everything, it can be, originated from the root, from the greedy. So we call it as a root. So how do we know the greed is a grasping an object? So we see it as a root. You see, seeing enjoyment in the thing that lead to the bondage. You need to say that something you like it, but actually it's a bondage. So we say it's a greedy. So very simple. People who prefer to the gambling, that will be the greedy. They prefer drinking the liquor, that will be the greedy. The shopaholic is the greedy. Because they feel the joy. Actually, that's the bondage, you see. But they feel it's a joy, you see. So we call it as a greedy. So you see, not class. Basically, one we call it as a greedy because there will be a few consequences. Number one, if it's a greedy, they will be come back with the vipaka, which is not the good one. Second, this is the unwholesome consciousness. The state of the mind is unwholesome. And the third one is, okay, I forget already. There will be two definitions why we call it as unwholesome. But for greedy, basically, if you compare with the angry, greedy actually is more subtle. Because greedy usually accompanied by joy. So usually people, when they indulge in the greedy, it's hard to realize one. Hard to realize. But when you're angry, you can feel easily, oh, I'm angry. Because the angry itself is very coarse. It's very coarse. But the greedy is more subtle. So sometimes once you are in the greedy, you will not realize. See or not? So that's the difference between the greedy and the angry. See or not? Okay. Number one, it is the greedy. Then second will be the wrong will. Wrong will meaning to say, see, unwise interpretation of the thing. Okay, unwise interpretation of the thing. Class, if let's say the avijja is using the cloth to cover the eye, so what is the simile you can use to describe the wrong will? Class, take a look. See thing wrongly, unwise interpretation of the thing. So what is the example you can use? If you try to deduce from the avijja, ignorance. Sally? Sally, you see, avijja, for example, I'm using a glass which is a dark color one, so I don't see anything. So this is avijja, I don't see anything. But for this, we're sitting in the wrong way, meaning to say, if we are still using the glass as an example, what part of the glass I'm using?
The glass which you can see clearly, the spectacles that we're using to see clearly.
Clearly or unclear?
Clear.
How come
I mean,
clear?
you see clearly, then you know this one is the wrong already, right?
No. I mean, if it's a wrong will meaning to say that you see the world wrongly.
You see the thing wrongly, yes, correct.
Then the spectacle should be what type of spectacle to see the world wrongly?
Sunspect.
What
Sunspectacle.
Yes. You see, sure must be.
Mr. Leong use it more.
Yeah. Mr. Leong is more wise, you see, because the sun spectacle, you see the whole world is a colorful, isn't it? Actually, it's not right, That's we call it's a wrong will. So the best way to understand the wrong will and also the avijja, because both are close, you see, and then we. Since we are always in the wrong will and avijja, so quite hard for us to tell one. But the example is good. So by wearing the sun spectacle, meaning to say that you are in the wrong will. So class, you can correct. What wrong will is it? Basically, class, if you always see things in the permanence, and the things always in the permanence, and the self, that will be the wrong interpretation. It's quite same with the avijja. You see the world, they are permanence. You see the world, they are always full of the joy. See or not? Okay, that we call it as a wrong self, a wrong will. Yeah, Mr. Leong, yes. Anything?
Another simile for this wrong will also, we can take a mirage as an example.
Mirage, what is that?
Optical image of, let's say, for example, a village with water in the desert.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay, yeah. How can you spell, Mr. Leong? Yes. Can you spell? Yes.
Mirage.
Mirage. M-I then?
R-A-G-E.
R-A-G-E. Mirage. This one, right?
Yes.
Mirage. Yes. Sometimes we use this as about mirage. Okay, wrong. Wait, say.
Not.
Can you correct the spelling?
Desert. Mirage desert.
Mirage desert. Yeah, mirage desert. This one, 还是巡逻啦. Yeah, that's correct lah. Mirage, something which is illusional and which is not real one. But the problem is we take the world as real. So that's why we always have a defilement. You see another, the greedy and the anger is because you see the world is real. Hey, I think we have to sue the scripture writer, because most of the Western Hollywood scripture writer, they copy from Buddhism, right? Not they always begin with the story that the world is a delusion, then the adventurer that discover the truth already. All this actually copy from Buddhism one. Actually, we should sue them, right? Copyright. Am I right, Mr. Leong? Okay.
Yeah, in fact, they are making millions through this mindfulness from this Buddha's teaching.
Yeah. At least we should get some compensation to Erdi, so that we won't always keeping ourselves small. We make ourselves
Pay
bigger.
royalty to Erdi.
Yeah, okay, but anyway, I think nowadays it's good. I mean, because nowadays people always realize that, actually the world we are staying is a delusion. But how to come through? But I think not easy also, because now everybody are fit by the handphone with the TikTok, all this very fast. You can get the music easily. Mr. Leong, many years ago, you want to listen to a song, you have to buy, right? You have to buy the cassette. Everything is free, so people even not that appreciate, like you and I also, we just scroll only, nothing already. This is not appreciate. I think maybe many years ago, we will finish listening one song because very precious. Now we never finish it. Boring. Go other lah. You see or not? Even the movie.
And then erase it.
Then erase that because I think we hardly appreciate it. So if that's the case, even though people know that the world is a delusion, but I don't know how many people realize that actually you should try to meditate so that you go to the real world. I think maybe not that easy also. Am I right? We go to check we see is that a lot of people through the movie they really enlightened that this is a delusion world. They should come back to find the real one. Yes, Kok Hong, why are you laughing? You are laughing to who?
Sifu, it's just like when they say that when you say the word they realize through the movie, it's realized. I would not agree it is enlightened. It's just some kind of a realizations.
Realization as an entertainment. Right, not as an entertainment actually.
Yeah.
But one thing is they have been notified that this is the delusional world very early. Am I right? Because the information is easy to get, so they know already. But just somehow, but we don't know how many people will from this perception and start to cultivate We don't know they get the information easily already. 1,000 years ago, it's very hard to get somebody to tell you that actually this is the delusional world. Very hard. Am I right? 1,000 years ago, because Sultan quite hard to get. No people will tell you. Everybody just busy as a farmer, right? 1,000 years ago, every day you just go to do the farming, and then the world what you see, there's your whole world already. You will never realize that actually there's the real world is behind everything as from what you see. Okay, so this is we call it as a wrong view lah. Okay. Yeah, Kok Hong. Yeah, you right. You raise hand. Want to say something? Yes.
Yeah, Sifu.
Yes.
Having said that, you see, my opinion is that the human mind is smart, irrespective whether it's in 1,000 years ago or even now.
Yeah.
So when just now you make examples that the farmers, they don't have a chance to practice it. I would say because. They as a farmer, they also realize that the crop that they plant from the seeds all the way to getting to the crops, the harvest, they could just realize that things are not in the permanent positions. But it's just like in 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, what can they do? I still need to eat. If I wanted to go and practice enlightenment or who's going to feed my family?
Actually, what I have to mention is not
a lot of this kind of a commitment as well.
Besides this, what I mentioned is quite hard. They are being informed that the world is the delusion. just compare with today lah. Because today from the movie, everybody can know already. Oh yeah, this is a delusional world. That's what I want to tell lah. The difference nowadays very easy. You can get this type of message. But 1,000 years ago, quite hard. You see it not? That's the thing now. But once you realize you want to start to meditate or do what, that will be another different story already. You must be rich enough. Okay. Then we go to the hatred lah. You see, then the hatred is conceit lah. Class basically conceit is a great dissociate from the views. Basically in abhidhamma, okay, class we have a greedy consciousness. But we have a greedy consciousness. Basically, 4 is dissociate from the view. Then you will find the conceit there lah. If but the greed, if you associate with the view one, associate with the wrong view, then you wouldn't see the conceit there lah. So here the definition is regarded as a madness, the conceit. Sometimes they interpret the conceit like arrogance. Sometimes they interpret as arrogant conceit. Then the last one, then the next one will be the hatred. Hatred, you see, there's Mr. Leong, yes, want to say something first?
Sifu, regarding this conceit, mana isn't it the mind or brain or whatever?
Okay, yes, the mana. You mean the mana is in the brain or is in the mind? Okay, I think it is supposed to be in the brain lah. Nowadays, every day is in the brain, according to the MRI. Okay, but we can check nowadays, Mr. Leong. Yes, it's true. I prefer check it. You see, okay, we can ask, we can get the answer through this way. You see, arrogance. Okay, then arrogance in the brain. So we tell you which part of your brain corresponds to the correspond to the this arrogance one. Arrogance. Let's see. Arrogance.
GANCE.
Oh, okay. Arrogance. Wait.
GANCE.
GANCE. Arrogance. Okay. Let's see. Okay, what's the root cause of arrogance? What is the effect? When the brain one, it doesn't come with the brain. Let's see first. The thing to feel, the thing they are superior.
The first one.
Psychological arrogance. Let's see. Feeling superior only. But it seems not that specific in which part of the brain. So far, no. But the anger, yes. Mr. Leong, anger, yes. Arrogance, no. So far, you see. Let me check for you. Angry, I see. Angry at the brain. Okay, they can see. Yeah. Okay. What is the brain responsible for anger? Amygdala. Plus, you can write down. Amygdala is responsible to the angry. Let me show you which part is the amygdala. Here is the amygdala. Here is it, class. Amygdala here. This part is the amygdala. So nowadays, meaning to say that if you do the metta bhavana, you will try to suppress the function for the amygdala. Okay, for the arahana, they're able to totally remove the function of the amygdala, so they will be never angry lah. So that's what we say here lah. Amygdala. Yeah, amygdala helps coordinate response in their environment, especially trigger emotional response. So this is an important role in the fear and anger. See or not? Fear and anger. So meaning to say that, but of course, sometimes fear and anger basically they are grouped in the same group because we try to avoid something once we fear, and also we try to avoid something once we are angry. In Buddhism, angry and also the fear, they're in the same group, but one respond negative way, one respond the positive way lah. Yeah, Mr. Leong, just now you raised hand. Anything?
No, I was trying to lower the hand.
Okay, thank you so much. So that's the amygdala. So please highlight the point. So next time you want to share some people. So basically, because psychology is very abstract. Nowadays, if you convince people that certain part in the brain, that's how we try to you do it, and then I mean, it could be widely acceptable if you tell people in this way. Yeah, Mr. Leong, yes.
So, Sifu, this Amadala is responsible for this conceit and anger.
No. Fear and anger. Fear and anger. Fear.
Then from which part of the brain?
Amygdala, yeah. Fear and anger. Mr. Leong, see or not? Amygdala, fear and anger. So this is the amygdala. Here is this part is it.
Okay, but then where does this conceit or feeling of proudness comes from? Which part of the brain?
No. So far, no. So far, no more MRI disclosed that. If God, sure, I'm very interested. I like the brain and MRI very much. Actually, I'm quite addicted to it already. But no, so far, no people go to scan. You want to help me to scan for you, Mr. Leong? I will push you to the MRI. Then you'll be arrogant. We see which part of the brain will be shining. I like it a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah. Then come back again. We go to the hatred. Okay, one thing, class burns up its own support. Please write down the support means the hataya. Hataya is the heart. This heart. 1,000 years ago, they noticed that when people angry, they were burning their support, burning the hataya. So nowadays, I think it is true that people who get easily angry, usually we got a heart attack easily. Because at that time, they realize already, people who easily angry, they burn their heart, the hataya. So this is the support, and then the proximate cause is the ground for annoyance. Okay. So this is the hatred. Then now we go to the envy, avarice, and also the worry. Yeah, Sally, can you please read the passage? Envy.
Envy, Lisa. Envy has the characteristics of being jealous of others' success. Its function is to be dissatisfied with others' success. It is manifested as an aversion towards that. Its proximate cause is others' success. A variant. Macharaya. The characteristics of arise for stinginess is concealing one's own success when it has been or can be obtained. Its function is not to bear sharing this with others. It is manifested as shrinking away from sharing, and is meanness or sour feeling. Its approximate cause is one's own success. Worry, kucha. Kucha is worry or remorse after having done wrong. Its characteristics is subsequent regret. Its function is to sorrow over what has and what has not been done. It is manifested as remorse. Its approximate cause is what has and what has not been done, that is wrongs or commission or omission. Sloth. Sloth is sluggishness or dullness of mind. Its characteristics is lack of driving power. Its function is to distill energy. It is manifested as the sinking of the mind. Its approximate cause is unwise attention to boredom and drowsiness, etc. Torpor, Mida. Torpor is the morbid state of the mental factors. Its characteristics is unwillingness. Its function is to smother. It is manifested as drooping or as loading and sleepiness. Its proximate cause is the same as that of sloth. Sloth and torpor always occur in conjunction and are opposed to energy. Sloth is identified as sickness of consciousness. Torpor is sickness of the mental factors. As a pair, they constitute one of the 5 hindrances which is overcome by initial application, vitaka, doubt, vikiticha, vichikicha. Doubt here signifies spiritual doubt. From a Buddhist perspective, the inability to place confidence in the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha, and the training. This characteristic is doubtfulness, adapting. Dysfunction is to waver. It is manifested as indecisiveness and as taking various sides. Its approximate cause is advised attention.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, Tama, please, once you finish. Okay, thank you so much. Let's take a look. Now we start with the envy. Envy meaning to say is jealous. Then he said the function is dissatisfied with the other's success. Plus, okay, from this sentence, how we used to apply this to avoid the envy. If let's say it happened to us. Yes, Kok Hong, what do you think? Take a look to that sentence, how we apply this. If let's say we feel envy, then how we use this sentence to avoid envy.
Don't know as if how to avoid.
You see, proximate cause is other success. Guan San, what do you think? This is the proximate cause is other success. How can we avoid our envy from this by applying this Dharma?
I think everyone has their own time, Sifu. Means no need to envy them, anyone, but because everybody timing is different.
If let's
So
say
just
if let's say
happy
you
for
feel
them.
envy, let's say you feel envy, then how do you to avoid it by seeing this sentence? How to avoid? The proximate cause is other success, meaning to say that you just don't go and see and hear lah. See or not? That is the meaning for that. Because most of the proximate cause is because we go to see and we go to hear. Then that defilement appeared. So you see, according to the Dharma, it mentioned, you see, it said proximate cause is other success. If let's say you don't hear and see other success, your envy won't appear. So that's why it really depends on individual. Not everybody is so envy. According to the legend, they say woman more easy envy than a man. It is correct, Sally. It is correct, usually.
No.
No, you disagree. Okay, but
Disagree.
if let's say usually according to the siblings and also the peer, it's very easy to envy one. So the best one, you don't hear, you don't listen. You don't see, don't listen, and then your mind will be calming. But the more you listen, you cannot control yourself. Some people, they are more habitual in envy actually. Yeah, Mr. Leong, yes.
Instead of not listening or seeing other people's success, can we say we rejoice in their success? Rejoice.
No, can you do that or not? If let's say he's an enemy, it is easy to rejoice the enemy compared not seeing and hearing. You know what I see?
They tell us to rejoice.
Oh, no, I mean, rejoice your enemy is very difficult. Rejoice your son is very easy. You know what I mean? You rejoice your son, your daughter, very easy. But the point is your enemy. How can you? The best way you don't see it. Not easy to rejoice your enemy.
Just maintain noble silence and non-reaction.
Hey, Mr. Leong, you don't curse your enemy, am I right? You want to rejoice again. If you're not cursing your enemy, am I right? So that's why if we're telling people, basically, generally people, even though they don't learn the Dharma, we will try to ask them, you try to avoid, you don't see. Because the more you see, the more defilement you are. So that's why we say, so this is how, this is the proximate cause. But if let's say you are the successful in the metta bhavana, that will be the best. If you're able to rejoice your enemy, basically you don't have enemy anymore. I can say so. Am I right? Because your enemy can feel one. I success, you rejoice. Then meaning to say that he can feel your energy, then there will be no more enemy again. Right, Mr. Leong, your enemy can feel what? You can rejoice me, then no more enemy again. Okay, so class, this is how we to use the Dharma, proximate cause. Then one more is the avarice, you see. This one is the stingy, you see. Concealing one's own success, meaning to say you want to hide something, you don't want to share. So this is the avarice. But nowadays, I think very hard to find the people stingy. Especially information. People oversharing nowadays. In WhatsApp, but just share. The whole world know already. Though the problem is oversharing world. It's not stingy. But during 1,000 years ago, for example, they want to get the sutra, have to walk more than 10 years to get the sutra back. At that time, usually people they will hide because they also worry. Even that they teach you the kung fu, they teach you how to cope, they teach you how to become a good. Any skills they teach you, sometimes the people will betray them. So at the end of they will be kicked out from the market. In the ancient time, it happened this way. So people sometimes they want to protect themselves. Maybe this is not a stingy. This is a way to protect themselves to survive in the market. So nowadays, it's quite hard to hide. You can learn anything in the YouTube, even meditation, they can learn easily. So Kwansan, if you can learn a meditation in the YouTube easily, so what is the meaning? It is necessary for us teaching meditation class anymore, you think? Kwansan? Everybody can see.
Okay, if let's say because maybe YouTube may be more general. If let's say want to have a more focus of a specific group, right? I think we'll need a Sifu lah. Yeah.
Okay, so meaning to say that for you you meaning to say that you still will I mean, you won't just simply grab somebody and learn something. If professionally you want to learn something, am I right?
If a specific thing I want to learn, then it's better to engage with someone rather than someone.
Not just simply YouTube. Everybody can become a master. Everybody, as long as you are able, especially as long as you are daring to share, then you can become the master already. Right nowadays in YouTube, this is how the YouTube world. We call it as a cell medium. So I think there's a good and also there's a bad you see,
But-
for example,
but-
actually, yes, Sally.
But sometimes YouTube may not be true, you know. They have a lot of false things also.
Yeah, you can't differentiate it because everybody can become a master already. Everybody can become a cook. Actually, I was learning making a sourdough through YouTube, you know, but not successful. I don't know who to ask. Make a sourdough, you know, successful. I don't know who to ask. So I realized that by learning things from YouTube, sometimes don't know who to ask. It's a problem, you know. Anyway, I will try my second time to grow the yeast first. The nature yeast, very hard, not easy.
Sifu,
That will take a lot of time more.
Yeah, a lot of time, many times.
1 week. You take 1 week, and then every time you have to take out a bit, then add in some
Yeah,
masala and
I do
water.
exactly. I exactly follow the YouTube, but cannot success. Don't know how to go further because no people to ask. You follow the YouTube or experiment the thing. Yeah, just now Kok Hong, you want to say something, right? Anything?
no, Sifu, if your sourdough is not successful, you can direct message the YouTuber lah.
The YouTuber. Oh, no.
Put
Sometimes
your comment there.
No,
Put your
they are-
comment there. It's not successful.
Oh, I know. Because sometimes they are very famous. Wow, the remarks can be 100. You know, I don't know whether because by waiting the answer, I don't know. I already claim out everything already. I threw everything out already. I see or not. So sometimes you learn something, still need the master. Immediately you ask them, how to solve this. Not waiting the YouTube to reply you. Don't know how long already. I threw everything out already, because the response not that quick. You know, you see. So meaning to say that nowadays, I mean the knowledge is available, but you don't know. It's not easy to choose. You want to learn something authentic, you want to ask somebody, nobody to ask. So this is the YouTube world. Everybody willing to share, but you want to learn the real thing, sometimes have to go back to the real people. Am I right, Sally? Yeah. 掉咗好多麵粉已經係咩 Sally？ 真係自己做沙煲多。
But actually, sourdough, the one is very little flour. You don't have to put a lot.
Yeah.
It's a small glass and then little flour, little water, everything you must add in.
But once you fill, everything you throw out. What?
No, you have to take out. You have to take out. It won't be wet.
I know have to redo everything again. 冇變開啦，size 少少嘢啦，真係。Okay, next we go to the worry. Let's take a look at worry. Worry is a remorse after having done wrong or sorrow over one has or what has not been done. You see, class, this is very good. Basically, we always worry. It's because we haven't done the wrong thing or we hasn't done. We sorrow over. I mean, what's supposed to be done? We feel sorrow. I mean, we feel regret. In Chinese, we say, 该做的事没有做，不该做的事做了。You haven't done what is supposed to be done, and you have done which is not supposed to be done. So that is a sorrow. It always lingering to our mind. I remember the one cases in one kampong, you know, there's an old man. Wherever he saw a hole in the road, he will have to repair the hole, then he can go back home and sleep well. So people interview him. He said about 30 years ago, actually he fell in the hole and injured badly in the hospital. So since then, whenever he saw a hole, whenever he see the hole in the road, he have to repair it so that he can sleep well. So we need to say that why people will feel the remorse. We feel we have the feeling of the worry. You see the worry, the kukucha. There must be some past experience before. So if let's say it happens to you, and then the regret will keep on coming back to you if you don't do that. In Chinese, it's very famous. People say that filial piety and also the good deed cannot be weighed. If you don't do immediately, you will regret. So that's why once our parents is still there, once there's an opportunity to do the good thing, so you should try to do it lah, so that you won't be regret. But nowadays also Facebook work is over already, because once you do a donation to the WHO to save the tiger, next day the panda will come again, then the other day other animal will come again. So many animal every day will come to say, I want your help also. So nowadays you will be except you have so many resources, or you kind of cope the algorithm by the Facebook and the YouTube, because once you do once donation, they keep on coming to you already, non-stop one, you see. Then until I mean nowadays the thing happens quite different already. So meaning to say that you have to control yourself, and maybe I think can do the setting. Am I right? Concern can do the setting, right? Once you do the donation, the algorithm will come, every day will come to you. You cannot stop them, right? So this is the world, internet world to do happen in the internet world.
No, like there's one. I think inside the setting, there's one place for you to stop all this. You know.
You mean the advertisement? Advertisement, right?
All the they don't want you to. You don't want them to follow what they have done.
Ad block, maybe. You mean ad block advertisement block, right?
It's in the setting. It's in the setting.
Is it a setting? So they won't come to you anymore. You don't like the tiger.
Not supposed to. I've not tried it. I've seen it many times.
Hey, you don't like the tiger come to see you, tomorrow a panda come and see you, you don't like it. Okay, then we go to the sloth and torpor. Basically, sloth and torpor, you see sluggishness of the mind, or you see drooping, nothing, sleeping. So basically, when you are in the sloth and torpor, meaning to say that you are in a good mood, you don't feel a good energy to do certain thing. It happens very obvious during the meditation, or maybe you attend some classes, you feel very boring, the movie is very boring or whatever, and then you have a sloth and torpor. So according to here, sloth and the torpor. So the last one is the doubt. Doubt meaning to say it's a spiritual doubt. This is the indecisiveness as taking various stand. So class basically, if you have a various stand, various side, and you cannot persistent in one job, you cannot persistent in one company, you cannot persistent in one choice, meaning to say you are in the doubt already. Basically, if you are confident, you will stick to one thing, one way, one method. But if you are in the doubt already, you won't consistent to it. So in the simple way that in order to make yourself to stick to one method, you should be always to see things positively in certain decision in certain area. But if let's say you keep on receive the negative thing regards the choice you make, no matter it's your career or your partner, or maybe the company, a temple you go, always the negative come to you. So finally, you cannot be royal, and you can to stick to the decision. So this is how the doubt play the roles. Basically, if you lost the doubt, meaning you got the doubt, but you lost the faith. Once the faith gone, there will be no more energy already. There will be no more consistency already. You cannot persist in one decision anymore. So this is how we said it. Once people start to changing the path, we know that the doubt is there already. He lost the confidence already. Okay, one thing is very awkward. How come people never strike the first prize of the lottery, but can persist buy the lottery for 30 years? Why? This is a very good question. Mr. Leong, why are people will persist buy the lottery for 30 years even though they never strike the first prize before? Why?
Cheeky and the desire to win.
Cheeky and desire. Okay, I ask you one question. Do they believe they will strike the first prize or not? What for the gambler? Do they believe they will strike? Or not? Do they believe?
They have the greed to strike the first prize.
I know. Do they believe they will one day? Do they believe or not?
No buyer, whatever also will believe.
Yeah, actually it's the same, you know. For us, if we don't believe, we can attain to the first jhana. If we don't believe, we go to the Western Pure Land. If we don't believe, we attain Nibbana. We will work hard in the meditation. Same only, you know. Oh, and I know this, sometimes the faith in the gambler even stronger than the devotee.
Yeah.
You know this, no? They are even more stronger, you know. You see, no? You can ask them one, you can interview them one. Actually, they always feel disappointed because every time they disclose reveal the number, they say, oh, they always say, actually, you buy, it's just like a cheating money. You always lost one, but they will keep on. After disappointment, they will get back the energy again to continue, you see. But for the Buddhists, sometimes we encounter some obstacle, then we say, I don't want to learn anymore, then we give up already, you see. So sometimes it seems that the gambler, their faith even stronger than us, because they believe they will win one day. But Sally, you think one day you will get Nibbana or not? Are you confident, Sally?
Wait, one day I will.
You will? Okay. So how about Guan-san? Are you believe
Think I will.
You will? Why don't you answer? Actually, I'm not very sure because what is Nibbana? I also cannot define it well. Am I right? Sometimes as a Buddhist, we will say, oh, jhana is very abstract. Don't know something very far away, you see. Sometimes it can happen in this way. Because first prize, you can imagine, right? You see people strike before, they got example for you, you see. But here, we cannot put a very strong example to you, except Western Pure Land. Western Pure Land, you can see many examples. They really reborn, they die peacefully, is it not? So that's why example very important. So class, go to look out your example so that you have more faith in your religion. Get it? Okay, okay, so this is you have to work hard for yourself. Okay, so before we transfer Mary, I stop here. So let me try to conclude a little bit. Class, take a look. We go back to the diagram. Today, actually, what do we finish? We finished all this, see. Now you see, class, we already finished the universe 7, occasional 6, and the unwholesome, the whole thing, you see, and unwholesome occasional. So we finished the whole thing already for this whole session. So in next lesson, we begin with the beautiful factor already. Okay, so today's lesson actually most of it is quite useful. Especially what is the homework is so after we transfer the merit, can you please go back and try to check what is your worry, and also try to check number 18 to the 27, which one is your weak point, please try to review by yourself. Once you finish, please in WhatsApp say finish homework. Okay, your homework is try to check which one defilement is your weak point and what is your worry. Try to reflect by yourself. So that is the homework. Okay, so we stop here.